My child, listen carefully, for there is something unseen around you that has been speaking in shadows and signs, yet you have not known what it was. This is the message for you. For too long, you have been asking yourself why every step forward seems like it pulls you 2 steps back. Why your prayers seem to linger in silence, why the good you try to do is often answered with misunderstanding, delay, and strange suffering. Why in the middle of great hope, a cloud of heaviness covers your sleep and makes your waking hours feel like walking through unseen chains. My child, your heart has been loyal, and your soul is not forgotten. But there has been something ancient, something buried in the secrets of your bloodline, on your mother's side, that is working against you. You need to know this truth now, because it is time to break it. Someone from your mother's side, a woman connected to an old feud, has spoken words in hidden places, words whispered not in light but in the dark corners of spiritual rebellion. She has used ancient black magic, not recently, but long ago, and those words have echoed through generations, hiding in plain sight. They were not meant to harm you at first, but now the curse has found its way to you. It is not your fault. You did nothing wrong. But because your spirit shines with an unusual light, because you are the one chosen to bring healing where there has been bitterness in your family, this old binding has turned its attention toward you. She is not a stranger. Her name has been spoken in your house, and though she is no longer alive in the physical realm, the things she set in motion have not been buried with her. Her bitterness came from envy, and her envy came from knowing that someone like you would rise up from the same lineage she once tried to control. You are the one she feared would reverse everything. You are the one marked with divine favor. That is why strange things happen to your finances just when they're about to rise. That is why every relationship that feels like love begins to crack for no reason. That is why people shift their mood toward you without cause, and why promises collapse when you're a breath away from receiving what is yours. Do not be afraid. This message has come to you because heaven has permitted it to be revealed. The curse is not final. It is not stronger than the love that is written over your name in the courts of heaven. But it must be recognized, and you must be willing to pray against it, not in fear, but in boldness. Not just for yourself, but because your freedom will cause freedom to break out across your bloodline. The enemy tried to make you the victim, but what he didn't know is that God has chosen you to be the breaker. The one who breaks patterns, breaks ancient spells, and breaks every old door sealed by hidden rituals that your ancestors never spoke about out loud. The reason you have seen the number 3 appear often, or heard footsteps when no one is around, or had dreams of women whose faces you don't know, those were not just coincidences. That was the spiritual realm trying to make you aware. There are documents in the invisible realm, spiritual contracts, signed by someone before you were born. These documents have your name written in places it should not be. But the same way they were written, they can be undone. The power of the bloodline of Christ is greater than the darkness of generational curses. But someone must choose to stand. Someone must say, no more. Someone must speak out loud, it ends with me. That someone is you. Archangel Michael has been sent before many times, to shield you. That time you walked away from that sudden accident unharmed, it was not luck. That night you felt you couldn't breathe in your sleep, and suddenly you awoke gasping, it was not random. The battles have already begun in the spiritual realm, and you have been preserved for this exact moment. You were born into this line because you carried the strength to reverse what others ignored. You may feel weak now, but that is the strategy of this curse, to make you think your voice doesn't matter, that your prayers are small, that your choices don't shift atmospheres. That is a lie. You have no idea how powerful your faith has already been in weakening the chains that once held your entire family in patterns of sickness, betrayal, poverty, confusion, and early death. There is a reason you feel things so deeply. There is a reason you sense people's intentions before they speak. There is a reason you have felt like an outsider even among your own. You were set apart. The curse tried to isolate you, but heaven set you apart to preserve you. Your tears have not gone unseen. Even the ones you cried in secret when you told no one how weary you were. Someone from heaven has knelt beside you and wept for you. A person from your lineage who walked with God has been pleading on your behalf. That is why this message has come today. You were not supposed to know until now. The time is ripe. The veil has lifted. Now you must be courageous. You must understand something vital. The curse works in patterns. It repeats itself. It moves through shame, guilt, fear, silence, and especially through unforgiveness. That is why, even when you forgive people, something makes you question if you're doing enough. It thrives in broken relationships, especially family ones. That's why certain family members become cold toward you for no clear reason. This is not about them. It is about the spirit that is still trying to play chess with your life, using people as pawns, hoping you won't see the board. But now you do. And now the enemy is afraid. Because you know. You are being called to pray like never before. Not long prayers, but specific prayers. You must renounce every word spoken in darkness that was not aligned with the will of God. You must cancel agreements made by your ancestors, especially the women who gave birth in pain and bitterness. Pray that every ancestral altar raised against your destiny be burned by divine fire. Ask heaven to release you from covenants made on your behalf without your permission. Declare that every spirit of delay, misfortune, brokenness, shame, sickness, and false guilt has no place in your bloodline anymore. Do not pray in fear, pray with authority. You are not begging. You are enforcing a new order. If you have been waking up between 3 a.m. and 4 a.m., it's because the spiritual realm has been trying to reach you. These are not just sleepless hours, they are windows. When you wake at these times, speak. Say out loud, every word not planted by God is uprooted from my life. Watch what begins to shift. People who were sent to manipulate you will begin to distance themselves without confrontation. Money that was always blocked will start to find its way back to you. Dreams will return. Sleep will no longer be disturbed. And most of all, your mind will be cleared of the fog that has made it hard to make decisions. You must protect your space. Do not let everyone pray over you. Do not let just anyone touch your hair or your hands. You carry oil. But oil can be contaminated by touch. You must also pay attention to what you listen to, even music and voices. Some voices carry bitterness masked as wisdom. Some words carry envy masked as advice. Be vigilant. This is a sacred hour for you. The woman who cast the spell hoped that your life would be filled with confusion, but God has chosen you to live in clarity. There is still one more thing you need to know. You are about to meet someone who will change everything. But the curse tried to block this meeting. This person carries divine timing. They were delayed, not because of you, but because the curse tried to wrap you in relationships that were never meant to last. But the real connection is coming. This person will not only bring peace and provision, they will speak things to your soul that you've longed to hear your entire life. Do not settle for imitation. Wait for the real one. They are already on their way. This woman from your mother's side, though she meant harm, will become the reason revival happens in your lineage. The curse she crafted will be the exact thing that is reversed through your obedience, and it will free people you don't even know yet. You will one day speak this testimony. You will one day stand before others and say, "This is what was meant for evil, but this is what God did." And they will weep because they'll see your glory and never believe what you came from. God says, "You are mine, and I have watched over you every step, even the ones you didn't understand." This is your moment. It begins now. Speak boldly. Break the silence. Ancestral chains are falling, and the woman who tried to block your destiny is now powerless. The door is open. Walk through it. Someone is watching you rise, and heaven is rejoicing. The spell is broken. You are free. Speak it. Believe it. Live it. And never go back. This message is for you, and it was not sent to you by accident. This is not a coincidence. This is not something that came to you by mere scrolling or passing curiosity. There is something ancient that needs to be spoken, and there is something sacred that you must hear. This message was sealed in heaven long ago, and now it has been opened. There is someone who has been watching you silently, and the silence was never love. The silence was ritual, and the ritual was not pure, and it was not light. This is about something buried deep in your bloodline from the side of your mother, passed down like a secret poison disguised as inheritance. And the truth is, a woman from your mother's side has used ancient black magic to block your future, your money, your relationships, and even your sense of self. You have been confused because you never saw the war, but you felt the bruises. You never saw her hands, but you felt the knots in your stomach. You never heard her voice speaking over candles and fire, but your nights became restless, your mornings became empty, and your soul began to ache without explanation. This is not to make you fear. This is to make you aware. For what you do not know will continue to pull strings around you until your entire reality becomes a prison with no walls. That is why heaven had to speak now. You were not meant to live your life wondering why everything falls apart right when it starts to get better. You were not created to chase breakthrough and never find it. You were not designed to be a magnet for loss, rejection, and betrayal. No, this is not who you are. This is not the destiny written in the scrolls of heaven concerning you. But there is a distortion that has been blocking the signal between who you truly are and who you've been made to believe you are. A woman who shares your mother's bloodline was consumed with jealousy when you were a child. She noticed the aura around you. She noticed the glow. She noticed how you smiled, how people loved you without trying, how your soul carried something unfamiliar, something divine. She saw it before you ever knew what it was. And because of her hunger for power, because of her craving to be adored like you were, she turned to something that she had already been practicing in secret. She reached into the ancient scrolls of forbidden knowledge passed down to her from a grandmother you were never allowed to meet, and she used something old and dark. She used it against you. It was not a moment of rage. It was not a quick act of harm. It was a well-prepared, deeply intentional spiritual sabotage meant to dim your light until it could never rise again. She didn't want you to die. She wanted you to suffer quietly, smiling on the outside while everything crumbled from within. And it worked, for a while. But God saw it all. The heavens recorded every whisper, every chant, every offering she gave at midnight. And now the time of silence is over. The altar she raised against you is beginning to burn down, not because of your strength, but because heaven has decided to move on your behalf. There are angels assigned to you. They have been watching, weeping, waiting for the moment they were allowed to intervene. That moment is now. Archangel Michael has stood up. The bells in the spiritual realm have rung. And this is the hour of truth, exposure, and restoration. You may not understand everything yet, but you have felt it. The blocks, the sudden fatigue, the repeating patterns, the unexplained tears at night, the dreams you couldn't remember but woke up from in fear. The sense that someone was standing over you when no one was there. The strange resistance every time you tried to move forward in your life. The way people turn against you without cause. The strange silence from people who once promised to be there. That's not coincidence. That's not bad luck. That's the curse that was woven into your story by a woman who should have protected you but chose to curse you instead. This message is for you, because heaven has decided that enough is enough. The injustice has gone too far. The interference must end. And now a reversal is being released in the spirit. The same power that was used to block you is now being dismantled by the light. You are not alone. You have never been alone. But you must awaken to the truth. You must not brush this off. You must not scroll past this message. You must not assume this is for someone else. You were meant to see this. You were meant to feel the shiver in your soul as you read this. You were meant to remember the strange moments of your childhood that never made sense. You were meant to recall the strange woman who stared too long at you during family gatherings, the one whose smile never quite reached her eyes. You were meant to recognize her now, not to hate her, not to fear her, but to expose what was hidden and finally take back what was stolen. She tied your name to her rituals. She used hair, objects, your birthday, and something you once touched. She buried it. She sealed it with words of curse and buried it again. And since then, your life has felt like a repetition of almost, but never. Close, but not quite. Loved, but never cherished. Chosen, but quickly abandoned. But that spell is being broken now, because you are no longer walking in spiritual blindness, because this message is light. And light always wins. The fire of God is undoing what the fire of darkness tried to seal. And even now as you read, something is shifting. You may feel the pressure in your chest. You may feel tears begin to rise. You may feel the old energy lifting. That is confirmation. That is truth. That is heaven's way of telling you that the curse is losing its grip. It has no authority. It was never allowed by divine justice. It only had power because of secrecy. And now it is no longer hidden. There is more. She wasn't working alone. There was another, a man who pretended to love your mother but held bitterness in his spirit. He contributed to the curse, not in blood but in agreement. His words confirmed it. His hate towards your success was masked in false advice, misleading love, and manipulative silence. But his voice will now be silenced. He will no longer be allowed to influence anything tied to you. Heaven is shifting the voices in your life. People who were secretly celebrating your downfall will begin to leave. Relationships that were spiritually tied to your harm will begin to crumble. Don't chase them. Let them fall. God is not removing people to hurt you. He is removing people to heal you. He is removing people to make room for the ones who will honor your light and protect your promise. This message is also about restoration. Because what was stolen must be returned. What was blocked must now be released. Every coin, every opportunity, every connection, every dream, everything that was tied up because of this woman's ritual is now being released like a dam that has burst. You may begin to see sudden favor. Don't doubt it. Don't dismiss it. Embrace it. You may start to receive unexpected messages from people who suddenly feel drawn to bless you. That's not random. That's divine reversal. The curse is breaking, and the blessing is flowing. And it will not stop. The flow will be unstoppable, not because of your works, but because of God's justice. Because God remembers. And what was meant for evil is now being turned for your elevation. You may feel like you've wasted years. But heaven says you will recover in months what you lost in decades. You may feel like you lost your confidence. But the fire of this revelation will begin to burn a new boldness inside of you. Your voice is returning. Your peace is returning. Your clarity is returning. The heavy fog that was placed over your destiny is lifting. You are being reborn. Not slowly, but suddenly. Supernaturally. The more you pray, the more you fast, the more you walk in purity, the weaker the curse becomes. Speak life over yourself. Speak reversal. Declare freedom. Anoint your home. Pray over your pillow. Place oil on your doorposts. You are entering your exodus. You are walking out of the spiritual Egypt your bloodline tried to keep you in. And nothing will be able to hold you back anymore. This is why the enemy wanted you to ignore this. This is why you felt resistance even opening this message. But you opened it. And that act was the first step to deliverance. You will never be the same after this. Not because of fear, but because of revelation. The light has come. The power of heaven is already moving. You are safe. You are protected. God is with you. Rest assured, nothing will go wrong with you. You just have to trust God and pray to Him. You are under the shadow of the Almighty. And no curse, no ritual, no spell, no blood tie is greater than the blood of the Lamb that covers you now. You are not bound. You are free. You are not cursed. You are chosen. You are not forgotten. You are favored. Someone in your life will confirm what this message is saying without even realizing it. Watch closely. Listen. The truth always finds a way to rise. And when it does, you will know that everything written here was never fiction. It was prophecy. It was instruction. It was warning. It was love. You are not alone. The eyes of heaven are on you. The angels have surrounded you. The curse is breaking. The light is rising. The truth is here. Now walk in it. Don't look back. Don't delay. This message is for you. If you believe in God, type Amen.